I don't know. Will that go away? Close tabs. Just get all this figured out. Perfect. Just a quick reminder, guys, that the computer graphics review quiz is due tonight at 11:59 p.m. That is just like a quick review, the video quiz thing. And then you also have your tech policy quiz. That's due Friday, but I'll remind you on Friday. But today, once we kind of go through Photoshop and everything, if you want to take the time to go ahead and do the computer graphics review, you're more than welcome to do that. But let's go ahead and take a look at Module 1 activities, which is where all these Photoshop to do tutorials will be. So let's see here. Who in here does not have Photoshop open yet? Okay. Okay. Just take your time. It's all right. This thing is loading too, so there we go. Just let me know once y'all get it.
Mine is 11% installed.
Oh, loud. Okay. Well, I can still show you the videos and everything, and they're always there too.
Wait, no, it's 12% now.
Wow. Yes.
And then the other, don't know what to do now.
What do you mean? You're in Photoshop?
Yeah, not the whole.
Okay, I'm gonna show you here in just a second. I just want to make sure everybody else gets there too, because I know everybody else's computer runs it a different way. Okay. This Wi-Fi is really terrible today. Come on. There it goes. All right, I'm going to go ahead and at least play this first video. They should be pretty quick and pretty short. I don't foresee them taking more than 10 minutes, if even that. Has anybody went ahead and started watching any of these? Yeah? Which one have you gotten to, Jasmine? You reached through all of them? Okay, cool. So you don't have to listen.
The creative way.
It's okay. Let's see here. Is there a sound on this doodad? Oh. I don't think this is. I'm gonna have to play it from my computer. That sucks. Why is it like that? Wait a second. Is there an audio cord here? That might be this. I got a headphone jack? Ooh, we do. I think that might help.
Ways that Photoshop.
Okay, can everybody hear this even if I play it from my computer?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna play it really loud, okay?
Photoshop can bring your imagination to life. Whether you're improving the tone and erasing distracting ads from a photo, combining images of cityscapes and mountains to create new worlds, or assembling social graphics for your podcast, Photoshop can help. Regardless of your creative goals, if you want to learn how to use Photoshop, you've come to the right place. Don't worry about completing something perfect right away. The idea of producing something like the silhouette of a city and a moon might seem intimidating. But Photoshop is a powerful app, and we're here to guide the way. Although, if you really think about it, you aren't starting from scratch. Once you're in the process of creating, you'll realize how much you already know. Have you ever edited a photo on your phone? If the answer is yes, then you already have some essential photo editing skills, like cropping or removing objects. The same is true whether you're retouching an image, assembling a photo collage.
Oh, she stopped. Sad. Either way, she is literally just telling us what the capabilities of Photoshop are. This program, of course, is used for photo manipulation, photo editing, and it's different from Lightroom, given that Photoshop is more individual, high detailed images. When Lightroom has a bunch of different, it's more just kind of the bare minimum of editing. All right, so let's get to know layers. So in Photoshop, just like Illustrator, you'll probably remember all the layers, but the layers in Photoshop, I think, are more important than they are in Illustrator. I'm not really a big advocate of using layers in Illustrator, but in Photoshop, if you do not have your layers set up correctly, it could make or break your design. So let's go ahead and watch this one. Cute little toucan and a flamingo and a parrot. What is up with this Wi-Fi today? You're joking. You know what? I'm just gonna show you all this. We'll just go step by step. So each of these, get to know selections, how to add an image. Okay, cool. So in Photoshop, like I mentioned on Monday, my software is a different color than yours, most likely. Mine is white, y'all's is probably black, just whatever is preset there. But it still works the exact same way. So let's just go ahead and open up a new file. Just click the first one that you have there, whether it is 8.5 by 11, whatever it is, just click it, okay? Because I just want y'all to get used to setting up a document and getting in, so that way I can pick and show you different spots. Okay, so let's try to make this bigger, and I wish I could kind of zoom into the software for you guys, but for me, on my Photoshop, I already have my layers panel docked over here on the right. At the bottom. Now, you may not have your layers panel, and if you don't, it's just like Illustrator. If you do not find a plugin or a certain tool, you'll always go up to Window, and you'll have all of them linked here, or organized here. So, of course, just go down to the L's and then hit Layers. And then once you hit that, it'll either pop up over here on the side. It might pop up like its own little dialog box, but it's the same layout as Illustrator, okay? Some other things that you may need throughout Photoshop might be your character panel if you do a lot of typography in Photoshop. I personally do not. I try to keep my typography specifically for Illustrator. Color swatches, that will always come in handy just due to you coloring things, recoloring things, changing the color of your brushes, all that fun jazz. But like I said, if you ever need anything in particular, it is all up here, okay? Also, your control panel up here, it's kind of similar to the control panel or the control bar on Illustrator. Sometimes when you are selecting different things throughout your document, this up here will change, the top row, depending on, and it'll actually give you different actions, different tools to use that you know that you have selected. To see that, if you do not have that already, I do believe you need to go down here and hit, I think it might be taskbar. No, it's not taskbar. That is not it. Oh, that's that though. Didn't know that could turn off. Okay, it's under options. So unfortunately in all these softwares, you'll see that things that are pretty much the same thing are called different things. So like we would call it the control bar in Illustrator or in InDesign. And here it is just called options. It's pretty much the same thing. It'll hide or show that. I do recommend you having that there, okay? Also, with your tools, over here, some of these may look very similar to you. Yours may look, like I said the last class, may look individual like this over here. I'm actually gonna drag this over so you can see it a little better. You can also drag yours over. If you want to completely shift your side, if you want to move your panels over, oh my goodness, over here on this side, you totally can. If you're like I don't know if it's a left-handed thing, who knows? But either way, you can shift things over by just dragging it over. But right here, let's just go ahead and look at these tools. So first things first, you'll see the move tool. Let's see here. If you do not have your tool panel by any chance, you need to go to Window and then Tools. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and exchange this back because this is going to drive me insane. Also, before I get into the tools, it may change these. There are different presets of the way things are laid out due to whatever you might be working on, just like in Illustrator. So there's essentials, motion, painting, photography, graphic web. You can change those throughout whatever you're working on, and it will give you different tools to use for those. Typically, essentials, your essentials may look different than mine, obviously. So just know whichever one you click on, it will save those tools there. Oh my goodness, come on, dock over here, please. There we go. Nope, doesn't want to dock. Oh my heavens. You're making a fool out of me, toolboard. Whatever, we're just gonna sit over here. I don't want libraries. Okay, cool, whatever. Okay, so with these tools, of course we have the move tool. That is kind of like your black arrow in Illustrator, okay? It is going to be the tool that you use to move things around. If you right click it, you'll see that the artboard tool is underneath it. This is new to Photoshop. So just like in Illustrator, there is capabilities of doing an artboard tool, and if you click on that, you have the capability to go out here to the other side of it and create a completely different artboard or resize it. I don't foresee us necessarily using that right now, but I'm just going to change it back to the move tool, and that shortcut is V. Then over here are your selection or your marquee tools. Marquee tools are, if you click on it, click the square one and you drag it out, you'll see that there's all these little dancing ants. That's what we kind of call those. They're selections. You'll see that those are made. So for this, say if you have a picture that you want to crop, or say if you just want a certain area to be colored, we will kind of use the marquee tools for that. These can be used in all different types of shapes and sizes. You can use, of course, the ellipse tool, the single row marquee tool, I can't speak, or the column tool, which is literally just a skinny rectangle. But for these, there are so many different ways to utilize this. Now, if you have created this and you want to get out of it, the best thing to do is either you right click and you hit deselect and it'll remove it, or you can hit Command D and that will deselect it, okay? With Photoshop, I do recommend learning your keyboard shortcuts. Remember, Command Z, or if it's on PC, what is on PC again? Is it Option Z? Control? Okay. So on a Mac, of course, it's Command Z, and PC, it's Control Z, okay? That is still the same thing, just like in Illustrator. But you'll learn some different things as well throughout. But all of your other shortcuts will be in different menus as well. So that's the marquee tool. These are your other selection tools. So somewhat similar to the marquee tools, these will be used for different selecting. Like if you're selecting different things, there's the selection tool brush tool. That is new. The lasso tool, which is kind of fun. It kind of looks like a lasso, and then it'll give you those dancing ants. These are all just different ways to select something, okay? Depending on what you're working on, that is, you'll figure out which tool works best for something. If you're working on something that is very rigid and has a lot of straight lines, maybe using the polygon lasso tool or the magnetic lasso tools to get in really straight lines. But with the lasso tool, it's kind of more natural and by hand. And then the selection tool brush, I think we need to have something on our layers panel to actually use that. But those are those. Same with here. I don't know why they don't put all these together. How they organize this is beyond me. But these are other selection tools that we'll get into. Your crop tool. How many of y'all have at least seen that tool before? Okay, whether you're cropping a picture on Microsoft Word or on a photo editor app or on Instagram or Facebook, This crop tool, it's literally the same thing. So you can crop your image to be whatever size. If you see that I made mine super big, it's going to adjust the canvas size. There's ways to go around that as well. Given that my canvas is empty, it's going to continue to do that. But if I had stuff in there, it wouldn't make it super big. But there's all these different ratios. You can do custom different sizes. You'll also see this little control panel come up with different things. Now that AI is into all of our applications, you'll see generative expand or generative fill everywhere. If you click it, it'll just give you some cool stuff. You can tell it to do stuff. Now, I will remind you that we're not using AI here, but it is fun to play around with. I will give you that. To get out of this, you just click done, and it'll crop it, or you can hit cancel, and it'll get you out of it. Sometimes that crop tool gets on my nerves because it like gets stuck in some places, and if it ever does, all you have to do is hit escape. So this right here is your frame tool. So frame tools will work well. Has anybody ever used InDesign in here? Okay, so InDesign has the capability when you are doing, when you're laying out photos, it embeds an image into a square or like a whatever shape you have. This is the same tool, but it's in Photoshop. So it's kind of like a placeholder. So if you're trying to design something, say if it's like a social media graphic, you know you need a photo there, but you don't have it yet. This is the tool for that. It's kind of just a placeholder, and then you can click on it, and then you can upload your image to it. Your eyedropper tool. Same thing as InDesign and Illustrator. There's all different ones underneath it. You can also see there's a ruler tool. If you were working on a project and you're like, this thing is massive, I don't know how big this is, you can grab your ruler tool and you can measure like small increments throughout, which is kind of neat. I have never actually used it, and it's kind of annoying to use it. But to get out of it and to get those lines to go away, you just click out of the tool. Your note tool, say if you're working on a document and you just got to make notes for yourself, that's there. Kind of like Microsoft Word has. Count tool, I'm assuming it's just going to count everywhere. It's just a tool that'll just, if you're having to count different things, to analyze or annotate things. So this right here, this little patch thing, it kind of looks like a little computer chip in a way. There are a bunch of different tools over here. This is what your phone, or if you have any like phone editors or photo editors on your phone, these would be the tools that those use a lot. Like spot healing brush, the patch tool, or the red eye tool. Y'all probably heard of that, to get red eyes or get rid of red eyes. The content aware move tool. So say you're working on a photo and you're trying to remove something out of it. That's kind of what those tools do. Your paintbrush. So for those who utilize Photoshop for an art tool to create digital work, of course this is going to be your best friend. This has a lot of capabilities. And fun fact, there's actually, I think if I'm correct, somebody who was a previous alumni here created a lot of Photoshop brushes. It might have been Procreate, but somebody who does live in the area has created a lot of Photoshop brushes. So you can find those up here. There's all different ones. If you have a stylist or a Wacom tablet, you can utilize the pressure sensitivity tool too. So just like if you've ever used like a normal pencil or a paintbrush, it will mimic that as well. It's super cool. Now, if you're working with your mouse, the likelihood of that working is not. But you can change the size of it. With your paintbrush, you can also use your brackets on your keyboard to make the brush size bigger. It's right there beside the P on your keyboard. You can go left and size it down, right and size it up, and you can make it really big. As you can see on my brush, right now mine has a middle hardness to it. So with all of these brushes, you can change the hardness level along with the size. So the hardness level you can see, so if I take the hardness all the way up, it'll give me a perfect, there's no like fog around it, okay? If I change the hardness down, obviously it's gonna be a softer brush and it's gonna look a little more faded. Okay, this will work well if you are trying to remove things from photos or if you're trying to blend colors or whatever it is. So those are different ways to do that. Underneath your brush tool, you have the pencil tool, the color replacement tool, your mixer brush tool. I'll be honest with you, the only one I've ever used on Photoshop is the brush tool. I'm sure these have great purposes. I will let you click and see what they do if you want to. The next one is the stamp tool. So this also really helps with, before AI and before AI got really big of removing things, you would use the stamp tool to remove stuff. This was my favorite tool. I love this thing. It also has a pattern stamp tool. I have never used that one before, but it would work best if you have a lot of repeating stuff and you're trying to like replace certain things or add certain things that repeat a lot throughout. But the clone stamp tool is about the same thing. You'll see that throughout the 8 weeks when we do any type of photo compositioning. Next, I'll be honest with you, I don't have a clue. History brush tool, never used it, so we'll move on. Eraser, pretty plain and simple. It's different than the Illustrator eraser. I know you may have never used the Illustrator eraser. If you have, it's way different. This is like a legit eraser, okay? If you click it, it's gonna act just like the paintbrush, but it's gonna remove things. You can, of course, use your brackets to make it bigger, smaller, and the same thing with up here, you can change the brush style of it and the hardness. So I can go up here and remove that, and I can change the hardness and give it more of a perfect circle that cuts it out. Underneath that, you'll see a background eraser tool. So if you have a photo, Photoshop's gotten really good now to just, it can sense a background. So you can use that tool to click one time. It may take you a couple different times because it's gotten more advanced, but it'll remove the background of a certain photo. And then your magic eraser tool. It'll say if you're working, or say if you're editing like a t-shirt on somebody, and of course, you know, with a t-shirt in different lights, like the sleeve might be a darker red than the front of the shirt, you know, or something like that. But it's gonna select the same kind of thing. That's why it's called the magic eraser tool. Those kind of go hand in hand, I would say, when removing stuff. Of course, you got your paint bucket. This is not technically, well, there is one on Illustrator, but it's exactly what it says. If you've ever used like Microsoft Paint or something, you know, if you're just trying to fill a whole space with color, that's what you would use. Underneath it, you'll also see the gradient tool. And the shortcut for both of these is G. So the gradient tool, if you're ever playing around with gradients, you click on that. You can change all the different types of gradient. You can go through, there's all these different menus to change the different colors and how it reflects, what type of gradient it is, fun stuff like that. And as you can see here, as I keep adding different things to it, so that the gradient will make its own layer down here, but all of the color that I had underneath it is on its own layer as well. So certain things will create their own layer, but if you keep drawing on certain layers, and I'll show you here in a second of how it looks different, it will kind of organize it for you. Okay, so we got paint bucket and gradient tool. These are also pretty cool. I have used these a lot. The blur tool, the sharpen tool, and the smudge tool. Now, I will say, I have also had this completely kill my computer one day. Because if you have it on like a really high like blur or a high smudge, it'll make your computer run really, really slow to try to get it to render. So use these diligently, I would say, but these are really cool. So if you have like a photo or an imperfection in a photo, instead of removing it, you just kind of want to blur it out. Or if you just want to focus on one thing, you want to blur things out. There's a couple different ways to blur things out, but this would just be a simple single tool for that. Sharpen tool, the same thing if you want to sharpen a certain area in a photo. By sharpen, it means it's got a higher contrast and the edges of it are seen a little more. Then your smudge tool, it's literally what it means. Like it's like your finger, and you can use your brackets for this. It's like your finger is smudging it down. It's like drag, but you can see how it's kind of delayed on my computer. It's not always perfect, but if you do have a tablet, it'll work with pressure sensitivity too. So it's kind of cool to manipulate different things with it. The next one looks like it's something new too, so we're gonna skip that. Don't think that's necessary. The sponge tool, the dodge tool, and the burn tool. That's also kind of some things that I've used in the past. I use the burn tool a lot if I want to darken things. The dodge tool, I don't think I've ever used, but it this program is about clicking buttons and figuring out what works and doesn't work. And if it does work, cool. If it doesn't work, Command Z or Control Z. Sponge tool makes it a little more gritty looking. So like think of like what a sponge would do in paint. You know, if you put it in paint and you put it on a piece of paper, it kind of makes it a little speckly. Your pen tool, y'all should know about pen tool. Photoshop has that too. I don't recommend it. It's not great, but it works. I think it's actually gotten better now that they've added some more things to it. So you can use the pen tool as selections, as cutting things out, as making graphics if you want to, kind of like what you would do in Illustrator. I would recommend, well, I'm sure in this class we'll probably do both, but in the professional world, I would rather see you use the pen tool in Illustrator versus Photoshop, but it's here. It's here. Your text tool, same thing as Illustrator. You draw your text box, okay? And then you can go up here. Of course, this little doodad gives you your different fonts and everything. You can change the color, which is really nice. And then there's also some more tools throughout here as well. And then if you have your character panel open, you'll see more options as well. But it's pretty much the same thing. And as you can see on different from Illustrator, it will give you a text layer. Okay, when you create a text box, it's not going to put it together unless you force it to. It's not going to put it together with your art file underneath. So it'll be its own separate layer. So that way you can go back and edit it if you want to and do whatever. Underneath it, of course, it's all the same stuff that you would see with Illustrator, but there's two new ones, and those are the mask tools. That's another way to select stuff. So say if you have like a really cool pattern that you've painted and you just want to like erase where the words are or where the words could lay, that would be what you'd use that for. I don't know if that would be, I feel like that's such a weird tool, but anyways, that's there. So you also have your black and white arrow, which is different from the move tool. Your move tool, of course, will move you around or move things around throughout, but your direct selection tool will be when you use anything with the pen tool. So these two tools right here will work together. Of course, with the white arrow, as you know in Illustrator, that's when you were doing like the points, and you were messing with the points and manipulating individual points. The black arrow is, of course, when you're trying to select the whole thing. I'm sure if you use the move tool with a graphic that you create with your pen tool, you can still use that move tool, but they're both there, so that way you can use them. These are your shape tools. Just like Illustrator, you'll have the capabilities of doing all different types of shapes. Of course, the stir tool will be there, and you can add, oh, why is mine round? That looks like a flower. That's cute. That's so cute. Okay, so cool. So when I have this selected, I can change the number of points. I can say, okay, that's neat. Oh, that's cool. You may have made, and okay, so it does do the corner. Oh, sweet, neat. I'm learning new things every day. So this is really cool, so that way you can edit shapes even after you plot it, and it'll come up just like the ones in Illustrator. This is actually really nice. I'm kind of proud of Photoshop. You can pull it like that. Awesome. And round it out. Dude. Okay, getting distracted. Your hand tool. The hand tool and the rotate view tool. That's new. The hand tool, of course, is if you're dragging out, if you have a really large document and you're trying to move around. If you don't have a mouse pad like mine where I can like zoom in on my mouse pad and do all this, this is where your hand tool will come into play, okay? I do recommend you remembering that shortcut, so that way when you're working in your stuff, you're trying to move around instead of zooming out and then clicking, and like, it gets annoying. H, I believe it should be the same. It's the space bar. It's the space bar. It's both. Oh, okay, cool. And then in the rotate tool, as it says, it will rotate your document, which is cool if you were painting and you're trying to, like, you know, if you had this on a tablet, that would probably come into play a little more. Or if you want to get really creative. And if you ever want to reset that, you need to go to View. Oh God. Am I screen mode? No. There's a way to do this. Am I blind? There's gotta be a way to do this. It could be. Nope. Huh. Oh, I just clicked out of it. Okay, so I just double clicked that and it went back straight. Okay, let me try that again. Yeah. So if you get all out of whack over here, you just double click this, the tool, and it'll jump you back. Okay, and of course the magnifying glass, this is what's gonna zoom you in and zoom you out by just a click and drag, okay? And then down here, you'll see the same setup. That is the exact same setup as Illustrator. But one is not technically a stroke. We'll get into that. There is a way to change the color of the stroke, but typically in Photoshop, they don't have that. So this is like where you can save, I guess, 2 different colors. There's a purpose for it when you get into selection modes. But yeah, it's very similar. And then of course you have your different screen views if you want to, full screen. If you ever want to get out of it, just hit exit. And then what the heck are these? Add from device, generate image, add free stock. Okay, cool. And then this down here is also, we call, what is this actually called? I always called it the selection tool as well. But it's a way to inverse everything and get ready to cut it out. It'll make more sense when we're actually doing a thing. So let's talk about the tabs up here. So they're pretty much the same as Illustrator, but there's a few different things. So with Illustrator, if you are file saving things, you'll save it, of course, as like a PDF or an AI file or whatever it is. It's always a vector file. With Photoshop, when you go to File Save, you can, of course, save it to whatever. Oh, now they've changed it too, so you got to export too. Okay, so when you save it, of course, you'll have Photoshop large document, Photoshop PDF. It's literally just a PDF, and then a TIFF file. But if you ever want to change it and export it as a image file, you need to go down to Export and Export As. It's a little different. But we'll get to that when we actually start saving our files. But I at least wanted to show you the setup of that because it is a little different from Illustrator. There is also a bunch of different things. You can, let's see here. You used to have to do this, but I guess, okay. So if you're ever trying to import an image into your document, there's a few different ways to do this. You go to File, Import, and it'll place your file into it that you locate on your computer. Or you can just drag it and drop it just like Illustrator. Let's see here, image modes. So say if you create your document and you see that you set it as an RGB, but you meant to make this file printable, so you want to change it to CMYK, you can do that by going to image mode and then selecting CMYK. And then of course it'll ask you, it'll have to merge different things that you have, but it'll still give you the capability of changing it over. So I'm just gonna hit merge for now, just to show you to save it, but you can always undo it if you need to. But that's a way to change the color modes, different adjustments. You can also find your adjustments over here as well. You can actually have it as a panel. Your type, you have a panel for that. Your layers, all that fun jazz. Filters is, I feel like, where you're gonna have the most fun. This is where everything lies for making pictures look cool, or bad, whatever you feel. But there's a lot over here if you want to click and play around with that. But let's check and see what else. How to add an image. So let's go ahead. I'm going to, right now, let's go ahead and Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and start a new file, and that way we all have the same size file. Let's do. Do y'all have a default Photoshop size? Do y'all see that? Yeah, the 7x5. Okay. Yeah, let's all do that. Okay. Hit create. All right. Now I want y'all to go online and find a photo. I don't care what photo. I'm gonna look up a panda because why not? You're gonna get, and now normally I would not want you to do this, but this is just to show you how to add your image in, okay? Yes, Josh. Yeah. Okay. What's up? Where are you at?
I made my shape.
Oh, okay. All that stuff that I was showing you on there, you did not have to do. Yeah. I was just kind of walking through each tools to show you that. But right now, go ahead and do File, New, and find the size that says Default Photoshop Size.
Default.
Photoshop size. It should be a 7x5 inch.
They hit create.
Yes, and then you hit Create. Yep. And then your document should look like this. Does it? Okay. So, you found an image, everybody? Are y'all lost?
Yes.
Hold on.
You lost?
Wait, oh no, I thought you said, I saw you said someone else.
Oh, is anybody lost?
Hold on.
A little bit. Okay, that's fine. Right now, all I'm asking you to do is go to Google and find a picture of something real quick, okay?
Why is
Hold on a
this
second.
tree brown?
What?
The picture of the ice cream next to the cherry is brown.
Is that a Google thing?
I don't like it.
And guys, I am screen recording this so that way you can refer back to this later if you do fall behind, okay? But also those videos are there to help you as well. So I'm just gonna file save this image. I'm just gonna save it to my desktop over here.
Save images?
Hopefully that doesn't save as a, yeah, okay, so it's a JPEG. Okay. Who in here is working on a PC right now? You are? Okay. So I'm going to show y'all both how to add a photo in. I don't know if Windows works well with this, the first one that I'm going to show you, so I'll show you this, you'll know how to do the second one as well. Okay, so simply to add a photo to your document, you just click and you drag. Of course, it's not going to, well, there it went. It actually automatically did that. So it's going to sit your photo into your white canvas that you had, okay? To put it there or to place it there, you can either hit done in this little box that comes up right here. I'll move, no. You can rotate it, you can make it bigger, you can do whatever. Actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead and make it the size of the canvas. Why not? If not, you can hit undo. You can hit undo. And then I'm going to hit done, or you can hit return or enter on your keyboard.
How'd you go on there?
I clicked it. I have it on my desktop. I clicked and I dragged it over and I dropped it in. Just like how you would in Illustrator, okay? Now, if that doesn't make any sense to anybody, I'm going to click and remove this real quick and I'm going to show you a different way. So once you, of course, have your file saved to your computer, you are going back into Photoshop. Make sure it says Photoshop up here at the top. If you're working on a PC, it will not say that, but do make sure that you are on the software. You're going to go to File, Import, and then Images from Device. Wait. Yes. No. Why is that? That's not what I want. Oh, place. Sorry. No, wait. Why is that different now? Place. Oh, we're going to do place embedded. They used to just call it place. Okay. Yeah, instead of import. So sorry about that, guys. We're going to do place embedded. And then it's probably going to come up your cloud information, but if you saved it to the computer, go, of course, onto your computer and then locate where you saved it. I saved mine on my desktop. So I'm going to click it and then hit place. And so it's going to do the exact same thing as if I would have dragged it in and placed it on the document, okay? I'm going to size it up just to the size of the document and hit done. So now I have a photo in here. All right. So that is what video 3 would teach you, is how to add an image. Okay? All right, how to get selections. What? y'all gotta voice it.
I have 2 pictures.
Did you do both? Did you happen to duplicate it?
Were you showing us 2 different videos?
Yeah, so I was showing,
Oh.
yeah, because PCs don't work well with the drag and drop. Their system's just a little weird. Not weird. It's not weird. It's just different.
It's not working for me.
What do you mean it's not working for you? You gotta go to your computer. You haven't yet. Find where you saved your photo. Is that it? Okay, now hit place.
Once you place it, you can't move it.
You should be able to, yes, and I will show you how to do that. I wonder why it's not coming in. What is the file type of that photo? Go to your documents real quick where you saved it. Okay, do me a favor and right click this photo. Okay, we're gonna do save image as. Okay, make sure, yeah, it's a okay, perfect, it's a JPEG, so hit save. Alright, now go back to Photoshop. Oh, so it's just taking a second to load. Okay, that's totally fine. So go ahead and size it so where there's no white, alright? Now in Photoshop, it's a little different from Illustrator. When you are trying to change the size of something, it's always going to keep the constraints. Sometimes. I can't say always. But typically with photos, it's going to keep the constraints. And by constraints, I mean it's always going to keep it proportional. In Illustrator, unless you hold down Shift, it's not going to keep constraints, obviously. It's just going to be all free for all. So if you happen to accidentally hold down Shift in Photoshop, it will do the opposite. So it will actually make it warped and like a free-for-all, okay? So say if you want to move this photo again, or say you didn't place it or you want to crop it in a different way, you are going to do Command T. Oh wait, make sure you have your layer clicked over here, okay? And then hit Command T. And you should see those same little lines again like you had before. So this is now you're back into placing it, making it really big. So if your photo is kind of like mine where I could potentially size it up a little bit more to just kind of close in on the panda or whatever your animal is, do that. Kind of get it. I just want y'all to kind of work with the transform tools, okay? Once you have got it to the size that you wanted, of course, you're just going to hit return or go down to this little thing right here and click done. Return or enter, whatever it says on your computer keyboard. All right, so over here in your little layers panel, and I'm going to move mine right here so y'all can see it a little better while I'm kind of teaching y'all this. In your layers panel, I wish there was a way to make this interface so much bigger, but there's not. Like, you gotta have good eyes to see all this stuff. Anyways, so right here you'll see that this is your image layer. Obviously your background is there and is white. So there are these eyeballs. Just like in Illustrator, you know you can turn layers off and on, okay? So just click and just see how that works for you. Just turn it off and on so you understand that. Right now, if you have placed your image in there, right now your image is embedded. So it's in the document, but say if you sent this file to somebody, they wouldn't, when they open it, it would be a very pixelated image. If you've ever used InDesign, you understand, like, if you send a document out and you don't give them all the assets are missing. And everything just doesn't look as good as it would if you had all the assets. So right now it's embedded, but I want to go ahead and put this in the document and rasterize it. That's what we're going to call it. So I'm going to right click it, and you're going to hit rasterize layer. Exactly. This is going to give us the capability of actually like removing different things and cutting different things. Right now, I am going to let y'all, with your animal, just kind of, I want you to remove the background as the best you can with from your animal, okay? Hopefully, nobody clicked one with an animal that has a white background, because you just made it really easy on yourself. But you are going to, I'm gonna show you all the different tools again that I'll walk through, just so you can see what may work best, okay? So I'm just gonna show you the eraser, the magic eraser tool. Let's see here. So in the magic eraser tool, I am just gonna start selecting. As you can see here, it took some of his fur, so that's not good. That's not what we want. So I know that's probably not gonna be the tool I wanna use. So I'm gonna go over here and do the background eraser tool. See what this does. Oh, you gotta make it bigger. Okay, cool. So this one's gonna give you like this selection, like brush type of thing that you can like run it behind the animal. This is very interesting. Did it?
Yeah.
Interesting. You know what? Let's do this. You know what? I'm gonna make y'all's life a whole lot easier, because Photoshop has this capability now that you can just hit remove background. If you didn't already figure that out, just click the button. If you have your layer selected, in this little bar right here, it's gonna say remove background, and I'm gonna have it do it, and it creates what we call a layer mask. You see the little, oh Lord, you see the little rectangle bar right here that I'm playing around with? Okay, so if you have your photo selected in the layer, one of the things will say remove background. Or if you just want to do select subject too, it'll even do that. It'll select the panda or your animal. Honestly, it's so crazy now. You don't even have to know how to do this regularly, but whatever. Anyways, I'm just gonna remove the background. Click this, remove background. So, like I said, it's creating a layer mask. So right here, you'll see this like black and white little shape. So everything that is black has been removed from what I can see here, okay? And everything that's white is what is kept, okay? If you actually click on, if you just like click the layer mask, if you go up to window and do properties and make sure properties is up, you can actually kind of change the feathering, the density, and play around with how it removed the background. Say, because as you see here, it kind of cropped off his foot a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of feather it out just to kind of see how it would look, play around with the density. Density is not going to do you any good. But this shows you how it's cropped the panda out. Let's see here. What is the next one? Get to know selections, get to know layer mask, combine photos to make unique composites. Okay, let's go here, and I'm gonna look at what y'all's assignment is, so that way I'm leading y'all in the right direction. Has anybody started the class exercise yet? No?
No.
Okay, you have? Was that your hand raising, or are you just stretching? You liar. You liar, like, I did it. It's okay. Let's look over what is asking. Okay. So that's, so you are going to be creating a digital collage that represents you. So, first and foremost, okay, so let's go ahead and just read all of this. Assignment overview. For your first assignment, you're going to explore various selection methods, all of which I briefly kind of explained to you, and other compositing tools to create a digital collage that represents you. This assignment will help you practice just essential tools and features in Photoshop to prepare you for your future projects while crafting a visually compelling representation of you. So everybody knows kind of what a collage looks like, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes you make like a scrapbook or whatever, kind of similar to that. This is kind of what we're looking for. I want some of it to be cut out, you know. Wait, where's a good one? Let's see here. Yeah, honestly, this is a great example, because you can see that some of it's cut out around them. You use some type, but also in the background you might have some different background pieces that are just kind of split and choppy. So if you need examples, definitely just look them up on Google. Just look at collage. Let's see here. So first things first, you're going to gather your assets. So gather a variety of personal images if you want to. And if you're working on these school computers and you want to take photos that are on your phone and put them on the computer, either email them to you, or download the Creative Cloud app and on your phone, and you can actually tell it on your phone to upload to your cloud that you have access on the computer to. That could be another way as well, or just dragging them from your Instagram or Facebook. Yeah.
So does that also work with your laptop too?
Yes, absolutely. As long as you have access to Creative Cloud and you bought the subscription.
Okay,
Yes.
because I'm doing it right now
Yeah.
with my laptop before raising.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do it that way, or just email them to yourself. But sometimes, depending on how the size of your pictures, if you want to quickly resize your pictures down, just take a screenshot of it, because that way it's not as big as the original, and then you can just crop it from there. But gather some. It says you may only use your own photos or licensed stock images under stock Adobe. Honestly, guys, I mean, if you find stuff online that like you think's dope, just do it. Okay, you're not going to use this as a portfolio piece, so I don't foresee, you're not going to get sued by it. But just know that this is not your normal thing. But this is a mood board or a collage that represents you. So if you don't have a picture of a giraffe, not many people may, but you love giraffes, use one from Google. Organize and label your assets folder. So this is where I would, wherever on your computer, whether it's in your Creative Cloud or whatever, I'm going to do mine on my desktop. You're just going to right click, hit new folder. With PCs, I think it's like up in like the browser, or like in the tab, you can click new folder. But just go ahead and make you a new folder, and you're going to do this. Let's go ahead and just call it yes in this. So I'm just going to say, where's the rename? I'm just going to call this images or image, because I can't use an S. You can. I just can't because my screen recording will stop working. So I'm just going to create a file, okay? And that is where you're going to place all your images that you create or that you gather, okay? So that's the first thing. Let's go ahead and just start doing that. Before we leave, I want to make sure that everybody has their assets folder created, okay? I would go ahead and say gather as many as like 20, okay? Because think of the background, think of, everything that's going to be in the foreground as well. And then from there, we will create a document together. So, that's awesome. Okay, I pretty much showed you how to do all that. Awesome. Let's see here. So to create the document for the exercise, I'm going to go ahead and just say bye-bye to my panda. I'm going to go to new file, and it says in the project write-up, you're doing a letter piece of paper, 8.5 by 11, okay? It can be horizontal or portrait, okay? I said that just completely wrong. Horizontal or vertical or portrait or landscape, literally the same thing. Make the resolution 300 pixels or DPI, and then color mode RGB. And then use file embed to place your images, or do the thing where I told you to just file and drag over. And then start clicking buttons, okay? Figure out what works, what doesn't work. And let me know, of course, if you have any questions. But first and foremost, just go ahead and gather all of your assets, okay? Cute. I'm gonna actually save this. Cute little. Let's do digital collage. Look how cool some of these digital collages are. I mean, once you get into it, like, you can make it look really trippy. Isn't it cool? Does it inspire any of y'all? Emily, I feel like you're excited over there. Heck yeah. Let's see here. So really, guys, we went through tutorials 1 through 5. So on your own, of course, while doing this, I would make sure doing 6 through 9, just going through all of those videos. It sucks playing those videos because they never want to load. So look through those and see if they give you assets to kind of play around with as well. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and actually stop this.